much that works out. Unless I can find a really rich broad in the meantime. Hey, how's it going? Find like a Sugar-Momma, 50-year-old broad, with some cash. Fucking widow, all upset and lonely. Hey, baby, I'll come for you. I hope you're not recording this.
Yeah.
Fuck. This will be edited out.
Hello, folks. How we doing? Wrap up show episode 45. 45 fucking episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, if you listen to the episode, it's a whole lot of nothing. So, it's a gem.
Nah, there's a lot of gold there. A lot of gold.
It's a monument to how great we are. That's for sure.
I wouldn't go that far.
There were a couple things that I didn't get to mention. One was just a reference to the very end of the show. We were talking about people on welfare and how Florida and now Texas is going to have where you have to do a drug test in order to go on welfare, because that's the big, credo amongst conservatives is you got to test all these people getting free money because they're just spending it on crack. Because, last time I checked, you could buy crack with food stamps. The Mexican cartels really like that. So there was somebody that I know that was talking about kind of the same thing, and they were saying, well, in this country, people are just so entitled and they expect everything for free, blah, 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 blah. And he was talking about, that's one of the things that needs to change. And my response was, look, you don't really need to concern yourself with the mythos of the welfare queen that's driving her Escalade. What you need to be concerned with is corporate welfare and these huge corporations that are getting massive tax breaks, and some of them not even paying taxes at all. They have a much bigger financial impact than the welfare queens, if you want to call them that. Because you're talking about what a welfare queen would probably be making, or probably be receiving maybe $5,000 a year from the government,
yeah,
maybe.
I was going to say,
and then you have corporations like Walmart that are getting billions of dollars a year taking off of their books that were supposed to be taxed. That's the fucking problem, not Shaniqua down the road getting welfare. Go fuck yourself.
Why's it got to be Shaniqua?
Okay, George down the street.
Hey, stereotype. No, it's true. I think on average, welfare, depending on where you live, it's based on that. Like you're saying, I think $7,000 to $10,000 a year pretty much is about the max that you'll see them get. Yeah. And I think I'm pretty sure Walmart got close to $2 billion.
Yeah, they're getting to the billions. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have a much bigger impact, and they could provide so much more for this country than the welfare queen that you're worried about. Like, seriously, there's no comparison whatsoever. You're talking about somebody who doesn't have a job, probably, that's suffering and pretty much living day to day, versus people that have massive, huge houses with multi-car garages that are just, they're well-to-do. They have no problems whatsoever. And we're worried about their investors. Dear.
I think one thing I wanted to bring up, I meant to bring this up on the show last week, and I don't want to try and fit in this week. We had too much nonsense, too much gold. But it kind of goes along those lines as well. As, one of the big pushes is always raising the minimum wage. And the big argument that is, well, if you raise the minimum wage, the economy's going to tank. Oh my God, these businesses are all going to go out.
That's factually incorrect.
I found it interesting. Australia, their minimum wage right now is close to $18 an hour. And they do a system every year where, based on the economy and stuff, they do a valuation on it, and then they'll raise it depending on, the cost of living, what's gone up.
Yeah.
So they're paying almost $18 an hour. Granted, the living is a little bit higher there, the COLA and everything, but take that aside. Just the fact that they actually raise it every year, well, we've raised ours, 2 times in the last decade? So they're smart enough to understand cost of living. We're going to continue to raise it. So at $17 an hour, you say, okay, well, unemployment's going to go through the roof and everything. When the economy crashed a few years back, one of the only countries that didn't feel it was Australia. They never had negative growth in GDP during that whole time. Right now, their unemployment rate is 5.7%. That's with a minimum wage of nearly $18 an hour. And this is, we're talking McDonald's, jobs, all these. The one caveat to it, I'll say, because people look it up and they're like, you're not quite right, is it's only for people 18 and older. You know, anybody under 18, like teenagers work, their minimum wage is lower. I mean, it's more
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
because
in
they're
line with
probably
ours.
living with mom and dad. So.
But anybody over
don't
the
really
age of
need that
18,
cash.
their minimum wage is 17, it's like 90 something. I don't remember off the top of my head. I looked it up, but it's practically 18 bucks an hour. Like you said, they go through every year and they realign it, you know, depending on the cost of living, what it's gone. So, I mean, that's one country, and there's a couple other countries that have, of course, a lot of countries have higher minimum wages than ours, where they haven't seen it. So it's a myth. I understand that with some people, you know, they're saying, well, you know, smaller business and stuff, it hurt. And I do believe that. It probably would take a hit in the shorts. But then again, also you have to think.
No, they wouldn't.
But you have to think in their countries compared to ours, like Australia, they don't have full-on universal health care, but it's pretty much that way. If you had a universal health care system in this country where the employers didn't have to take on the health care costs, which is the biggest burden on them, then paying those wages would make the difference, you know. So I don't know. I thought that was really interesting, so I suggest people check that out and look it up.
Well, the interesting fact of that is when it comes to people that are underprivileged and are poor or living near the poverty line, or you know, whatever kind of term you want to coin them under, when they have more money, do you know what they tend to do with that? Spend it. That's what they do. What the hell do you think drives the economy?
Yep.
Spending money. It's not like the rich. The rich don't spend their money when they get more money. They hold it.
Yeah, invest it, hold it.
That's it. That's all they fucking do with it. So their money goes nowhere and does nothing for anybody. There's that trickle-down economics claim where, oh, well, they build more businesses. No, that's a fucking lie. They don't do that shit. So the people that actually push the economy and drive it are the underprivileged. So the more money that they receive, the more money they put into the system. Because most of these people are living day to day anyway. So you're giving them more money to live day to day. So instead of spending $10 for their family at McDonald's, they're going to go spend $20 at Sonic for their family.
I don't know that. It might not be the best example. might be a stretch.
Well, Sonic's a little more expensive. So.
No, I've always said that. I don't understand. Trickle-down economics has proved over and over it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you keep giving it to the wealthiest people, and like you're saying, what they do is they either invest it, you know, in a financial system that's honest, is what tanked our asses the first time, or they use that money to go overseas and build, you know, their businesses up and stuff, so they get the cheaper labor. So it just allows them to do that with all their extra cash they have on hand. Yeah, I mean, if you give someone's making $7 an hour, you're living paycheck to paycheck. You could barely afford rent, barely afford a beater of a car, and to feed your family. Like you're saying, you know, you have to eat processed shit foods that are cheap. If you give that person an $18 an hour wage, you're doubling the minimum wage. They can live in a nicer apartment. They can go buy some other things. They can take their family out and do things. You know, go to movies, go out to eat occasionally. You know, buy some extra clothes for their kids or whatever. That money just gets regenerated back in the economy. It helps those businesses out. I don't know. To me, it's simple. It's simple terms. I've tried to explain this to a million people. You know, it's like trickle down. How does that work? It's shown it hasn't worked. Trickle up. It's the only way to go. I mean, you're not going to have it in this country because, like I said, you talk about raising minimum wage. Oh my God, every fucking business is going to go out. I mean, it's just going to be 30% unemployment. What the hell is going to happen?
Well, I also like the whole idea that, you know, the rich people, they deserve their money, and that the rich people they do better things with their money and all that stuff, and that they're somehow better people because they have more money. And that's actually been proven to be completely incorrect. I will put the link on our webpage. It will only be on our webpage at theintellectualsaviors.com, or intellectualsaviors.com, sorry. But in, I think it was Berkeley, they did a study, and they did multiple things. One of the things they did was they were studying people that stopped for pedestrians at, you know, the crosswalks where it's not necessarily a light, but the pedestrians have the right of way every single time they step into the street. And they found that people that had more expensive cars were 5 times more likely not to stop for a pedestrian. So they thought that was a little curious, so they decided to do a couple of other things. And what they did was they took people that didn't necessarily have a lot of money and gave them a Monopoly board playing against a couple of other people, and they gave them more money in the Monopoly game. So they kind of just were kind of seeing what they would do, and those people turned into tyrants, complete and utter tyrants. Not only that, but after that game, they immediately tested them, and it turned out that just that interaction and that feeling of having more money made them care less about people.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
It is absolutely fascinating, and they did a lot of other different things as well. But essentially what it boils down to is that the more money you have, the less you care about your fellow man.
Dude, if I win the lottery, fuck everybody, man. There's no doubt about it. I'm done with the show. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to go buy me a nice little house in a gated community. Fuck it, man. I'm living it up. I'm living the dream.
I'd like to say that wouldn't happen to me, but I mean, I can't. I've never had that happen, so I can't definitively say yes or no.
Nah, I wouldn't do
but I'm pretty sure that I would still have the same mindset and mentality that I do, and in fact, I'd probably use that money to fund some of my ideas and goals.
Buy a low-flow toilet.
So, no, not necessarily that. I'm thinking bigger picture than that.
Okay.
But essentially what it comes down to is that they said that the more money you have, the less you care. So there's something to think about the greatness of money that everybody loves so much, and this idea that getting rich is somehow going to benefit you. And you can find a lot of studies on this as well, that people that do have money, they have the same fears and thoughts that people that don't have money. They want more. It's constant. Doesn't matter if they have $5 million in the bank. They still want more. It's just a constant, ever-ending cycle. And so you have to really consider exactly how you feel about that, and really just be comfortable with what you have. And yeah, I understand that you always want more, but really you should be satisfied with the fact that at least if you're watching this, you have the internet. You probably have a place to live. You're probably feeding yourself. So it's really not all that bad. So yeah, my philosophy for the week.
Sounds good.
You got anything else?
I got nothing, man. Boggs isn't here. He was going to play a fucking song, and he bailed on us again because he's a fucking dick. He's a fucking cunt. Mark it down. I said it. But hopefully we'll have him on next week, and he won't be a bitch and leave, and he'll play some more songs. But I don't know about that.
We'll see.
But anyway, go check out the episode 45. Any of the shit we just talked about, none of it came up in the episode, so it'll be all new material. Yeah. It's about the two-party system, I think. Is that what we did? I forget.
Like that, yeah.
We did it like 10 minutes ago. I forgot already. So, it's got a lot of shit. Go check it out. Check out the website. Eric worked really hard on it. Intellectualsaviors.com.
Still working hard on it.
Still working hard on it. But all of our shit's there. This is a wonderful video you're watching, all of our podcasts, and sometimes we'll throw up blogs and notes and things and shit and stuff. I don't know. So, I'm done, man. Call it a fucking show.
Yeah. Peace
YOLO,
out.
bitch.